What's up, folks? Casual Dad here, and we have a particularly interesting synced PvP campaign tonight. We are looking at a boarding actions, so you get a limited deck pool, both a limited number of cards and a limited number of deck points. And two of the decks that are absolutely dominating in this particular round are Necrons in general, but especially Trazyn, because free cards are good, and also just because Necrons have a ton of cards at this price point that are infantry that have a lot of hit points. A couple have shields, and they've got a bunch of regen and Medicae in there too. So they just put up this wall that's very difficult to get through. Some of the other decks that I've heard about doing really well are going to be Etok, War Speaky, the guy that steals traits, is terrific against shields. I saw a shield spam Artemis that was utterly brutal. um, and then I've heard Call is back with the limited deck pool. He's not as bad, but he's in here. So how do you beat that, right? So shields, bulk, limited deck pool, limited card choices. You can see I tried an experiment here using the Parasite with a bunch of poison, and then a couple heavy melee cards to kind of round it out. So I'm actually going to play this real quick just to see how it goes, and we'll kind of talk about the game and see how it looks. So I believe it's 175 deck points, and you can't have anything that is bulky or large. And we'll look at the card pool in a minute when I build another deck, but we'll start with this and see. Right out of the gate, synced PvP is funny because it's quite slow, so I'll try to talk a lot to kind of make over the difference here. I have seen quite a few Skull Takers. Skull Taker is actually quite strong right now, or in this particular modifier, because you don't hit a lot of the counters, and you've got some very strong cards at that price point, and also that ability lets you shut down Akaran, of course, but also a lot of the decks out there, getting free damage is good. When you're at max level or when you're at reduced level, those are the two extremes where getting free stuff is better. So anything you can do to get extra hit points, do extra damage, get extra cards, those are all the things that will kind of give you an edge. So I should try the Turvagon. I hadn't even thought of that. I'm not sure the Turvagon's a legal choice, actually. The Tyranid Warlord I really went for was actually the Flyrunt. This would be a really awesome modifier for the Flyrunt, because the Flyrunt itself is a great endgame piece, but also it has the ability that just does constant damage, which is very powerful. Which is very powerful when you have lower hit point, smaller decks. And it takes a little bit longer for cards to remove each other because you don't have the really hard, swingy, very powerful cards. Let's see how this goes. I've got Poison to deal with the Fear. Poison's really good against shields and Fear. If the shield spam, though, like one shielded card is pretty good, and especially if you're following up with a bunch of extra damage. But if there's 2, 3, or even 4 shielded cards, Poison loses a lot of that utility because it takes so long to take down all of them that it doesn't matter if you're getting a little bit of bonus time taking down the one. Trying to avoid my poison, are we? I'm just going to hit it. This is a tricky one because sometimes I'm taking unfavorable hits because I want to make sure I'm adding the additional infested condition, so that these cards actually do blow up when they die, regardless of what kills them. Because I have a couple different ways to kill cards. And of course, the thing there is I kept across in the Fear, so I didn't add poison to the Fear guy, which is unfortunate, but these two are kind of balancing each other out. And I do want to be efficient here and not lose my Death Leaper. Oh, there's the Cascade. Got all 3 with 1. Nice. But yeah, so I kept Death Leaper there against the softest hitting card over there because I want Death Leaper on the board for whatever's coming next, because I know there's more than that. None of those cards were particularly cheap, except maybe the Beastman, but let's see, it's my turn. There you go. And I really could have left this guy across from there, because that Berserk really loves this. If I was using any attack type other than melee. Ooh, he moved and put his shield over there. All right. I see you. So he did it for me, so I guess that's fine. This guy is, of course, a perfect card to put in here, and it's very cool to see him so much, because the community all want a copy of that guy. So it's kind of fun to have multiple people play this out. In my first match, I ran the Mask against another Skull Taker, and we had these guys faced off against each other, and that was very satisfying to have the two just like staring down each other in a lane. That was fun, right? It was very mutual. We both chose Chaos. We both chose him in our decks. and just played a game. And it wasn't any of the power pieces. It was just kind of cool, janky stuff that we put together. How much damage? Ooh, 140, nice. All right, this is going to be a little bit brutal. This probably isn't going to be a wipe across the board, but it's going to be pretty harsh. So death blow to both. Kill the okay, yeah. So they still stand, but I've still got 2 cards in the deck. And this death blow is almost guaranteed to take this guy out, which will open up a lane for me, and we'll see what else survives. I'm not sure the Death Leaper is going to survive against Skull Taker if he does do the Furious Charge and then the melee on me. I should have mentioned sooner. Obviously, this is a max level campaign where all of your cards are max level, so you only need the 1 copy of a card in your collection to run it in here. Well, yeah, definitely going to kill Death Leaper if he goes melee. That will for sure kill him a turn early. All right, going for it. Okay. Right. Splat. And he's throwing 124, so he can't one-shot the Parasite, although that does give me kind of, well, now I've got him here, because I'm going to do almost 100 on the drop, and then I will do my follow-up attack. Well played. Well played. And so you can see how Skull Taker could be really good. You get a nice balanced deck with a bunch of stuff. I got kind of lucky with the poison, and of course the Parasite's ability is excellent in this, especially using, when players are running bulky cards, using that bulk against the rest of their other cards is a very powerful ability. And you've got some really good cards in there, and the Parasite is quite cheap. So all bonuses. But let's see what else we can do to kind of build this, right? Or to kind of challenge the meta that's out there right now. I want to try an Eldar after that. All that time with the campaign this past week. Let's see. Let's see what I can do. Ooh, okay. So looking again at the limited warlords, so you don't get. Let's take a look at who we have here. So we don't have Zephyrblade. Our first Eldari warlord is Rakarth. Of course, we never get. Ooh, this is probably a really good one for Illic. Excuse me. We never get Lilith, which is a real bummer. I mean, I get why she's not in PvP, but it'd be fine. And this is a fun thing I've been doing. So now I can actually filter by attack, ranged attack, and then do from highest to lowest. So I can look at the pool of cards available and start with the hardest, or the highest attack stat of a given type in order, which is cool. So we'll start with this, of course. We got a little target acquired. We got a little fear. And then I'm going to skip around a bit. I want this guy. Yeah, with some of that inspiring presence and some extra melee. What else do we have? We really don't have great ranged cards, which works in our favor, because that means that there won't be great ranged cards for a lot of factions as well. Let's put this guy in here. Poison's still good. Yeah, you can throw him in there. Let's throw him in here first. So 18 points. Throw you in there. Ooh, anti-infantry. Anti-infantry is going to be really strong in this. Anti-infantry is going to be a lot stronger than Big Game Hunter in this particular modifier. Which leaves us with 10. Very awkward. Okay, we probably don't need this guy. 16. I'll throw you in there. Kiarna's got a bunch of hit points, which is a nice bonus. Let's try it. We'll see how it goes. I do. Yeah, try it. I do actually have some decent melee in here between Iriel, Prince Iriel, the Autarch guy with the spear, and then also the what's that thing? The Drukhari thing. I'll check it in a minute. Get Skull Taker again. All right. Not the same Skull Taker. I've played some campaigns where I ended up matched against the same guy over and over and over again, and it was a little sad. But yeah, this is a whole new world. And I'm playing Illic, who's going to be a very weird matchup that a lot of players aren't playing. Illic is a warlord that a lot of people think of at high deck points because you can really put down the hard-hitting cards. But he's also good at the lower ones because the threshold of what 65 damage is lower. Yeah, so dealing half damage to a 150 hit point card is a whole lot easier than doing half damage to a 500 hit point card. And let's see how this goes. Dropping Mulgan Ra is definitely a scary piece, and you saw the immediate hesitation on that one and figuring out what to do. And we're going to go ahead and make that a little bit harder. And now if he does melee, I've got a really good swing back too. Boom, card eliminated already. On the drop. Woo. I thought Illic was going to be pretty good, but he may be a lot better than I was thinking, actually. I'm convincing myself that I made the right choice as I did it. And melee would almost kill this guy too. This guy's hitting for one. Yeah, it actually might kill him outright. Nope, not quite, but close. And then he's got to be really concerned here about the amount of damage I can do in range, because I can one-shot cards fairly comfortably. This is a cool matchup. Thinking back, I don't think I've ever actually seen Illic versus Skulltaker, which is very much... It's not a meme matchup. What am I thinking? So it's a matchup that makes a lot of sense. It's the mirror of each other's abilities, right? It's the melee version and the ranged version of the early removal based on damage dealt. And Illic is possibly a future that we could see for Skulltaker. I've seen some chatter that Skulltaker's ability falls a little bit flat at higher levels, which I get, because it's a flat 25. So it's super, super powerful, where like you execute a card if it has 25 hit points left, which is extremely powerful, of course. Who's infantry? He's infantry, yeah. But he does a lot of range damage. Yeah, there we go. Right. So Skulltaker's ability is a flat. If a enemy card has less than... I was watching for the ability to trigger, but no, I'd already dealt enough damage to him. Less than 20 or 25 or less wounds, it is just killed outright. Where Illic is a percent based, where if it is, you remove 60% or more of its total health in a single round of shooting. So it's a little bit more limited, but is percent based, so it scales, where Skulltaker's doesn't. So Skulltaker's extremely powerful at low level, and then falls off fairly quickly till the point of the upper levels. His only real advantage is that he's cheap, which is still an advantage, but there are cheaper Chaos Warlords, so... Okay, this is going to be interesting. Pew pew laser beams. Yep, saw that. Ooh, I got one. Okay, that was really good. I needed that. And now who does he block with? Ooh, yeah. Lucius. Lucius the Eternal. I got to remember these guys' names. I was just thinking how much fun it would be to build decks that have just like famous named characters. And of course, it happens fairly often. Okay. No, I don't have that many hit points. I will not risk the drop of my Warlord. Even as is, I may actually have trouble taking him down here. This is very close. Because if Skulltaker gets one good round of melee against Illic, that'll take him out. But I think I have enough damage on the board to trigger the... Oh, no, not anymore. So here this is great. Because Illic has Deadshot, I don't have to worry about clearing this lane to get the shot on Skulltaker. 139, is it enough? No. Whoop, I think I got it. Because I don't think he can hit me hard enough for that. So I'm really glad that Deadshot made it so I got the shot on Skulltaker without having to clear this lane. So otherwise he would have been pretty much toast. Excuse me. Ooh, like that. Now oh, thank goodness. I was like, does he have enough damage? Yes, he does. Max level Illic has enough base damage to finish that out. Ooh, that was actually quite close. But yeah, that was fun. All right, 2-0. Let's see what else I can do. So this is the point in the game where I haven't gotten totally serious yet about winning necessarily, getting on the reward track. I'm just experimenting and trying stuff out. That's a big part of what I do. And there was a question in the Discord earlier about like, hey, what's your win rate in these campaigns? And mine is probably 50-50 because of all the mucking about I do with different deck styles and different things. But then in the middle somewhere, I get very serious about the reward track and play one or two decks that I know are very successful. Yeah, so it varies a bit, but let's do one more. These have been going fairly quickly, which is good for PvP games. No surrenders, no crashes. Don't say that. Why would I say that out loud? Shish. Okay, so we do also have the Supreme Commanders, who I don't think trade very favorably at this deck point. So at 175, it's very challenging for these guys. Especially like Abaddon and Gaz, who'd be my favorite picks because they actively require bulk or damage your own cards, which you don't want to do in this. So we're going to go a little cheaper than that. I had fun with Ulthakar earlier. Eldrad could be fun. Ooh, max level. Asriel, do we do it? This is where I should be streaming this so folks can be voting while I'm saying, oh, Cannon S. Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. And then again, do the filter for my max melee. Just to see, because I have an idea of what cards are highest, but most of my personal biases are based on their level. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So as you get max level, cards that I don't think of very highly, because mine are like level 2, suddenly perform dramatically better, anti-infantry in there, at max level. Oh, yeah. That's pretty scary already. When did I get this guy? Okay, that's cool. But too expensive for my current deck. I could take something out, but I really like what's in there so far. So let's get down to kind of the budget stuff. We got a shield, we got a taunt. Oh yeah, so stuff with 0 melee goes all the way at the bottom. Do we get the 5-point taunt? Obvious choice if he's in here. I think so. Yeah, there you are. And then let's throw in a Medicae, and she's really good now with the buff she got recently. Her base melee is actually quite high for a 6-point card. I mean, 29 is not high, but again, 6-point card. And let's see what else we got here. So just to kind of talk about this, again, the Cannon S's ability is anytime a friendly card dies, a random friendly card does a melee attack for 75% damage. Usually against the card opposite, but sometimes it's not. Got 21 points left. I don't necessarily need to max out. Ooh, I don't have any Inspiring Presence, do I? And then we have 9. Now let's change it to points. And you really don't want any cards that don't have particularly good melee because... Yeah, we'll do that. No, we won't. She's only 4 points. You don't want cards that don't have good melee because then there is always a risk that they will be the one that triggers the... Oh, yeah. Triggers the melee damage. And I used to have things like the Kulexis Assassin, the Fear Psyker, in these decks, and I can't count the number of times I lost a game because the Kulexis Assassin was randomly picked 3 times in a row to do the melee attack, and he has a 0 melee attack. The ability shouldn't trigger cards that don't do melee damage, but it happened. Huh, okay. So a very thin Acheron deck, full of shields. It's got a total of 4 bodyguards. What do you put in 4 bodyguards? It's kind of going to be terrible. It's going to be dreadnoughts or something crazy. Which is good because I've got a full deck with free attacks from the Cannon S. So we'll see how this goes. But it's a really bad matchup. Although the Cannon S is one of the few warlords who is just as happy, if not happier, losing cards as she is taking down cards. So that's good. Okay, shields. Like it. Strategy tip here. So normally the card you want to attack the most you put on the right, because that's the one where attacks go through down from left to right. So the rightmost one will get the most bonus attacks. And also, if you have a taunt or a card that you expect to die, put that as far left as you can so that will die first, especially if it's a weaker one, so that you get fewer bonus attacks with it. Are you infantry? Yeah, you are. I got to tell y'all, I'm really coming around to anti-infantry as a very potent trait. One that I really enjoy. Especially in this campaign, because basically everything is infantry. It may actually be only infantry. So it shoots the trait through the roof. But a lot of the most powerful cards out there are infantry, and especially ones that are hard to remove, like this guy, are infantry. So there's so many cases where you get the free bonus damage that it's a nice trait. And a lot of the cards that gained it lost other traits that I was used to relying on, but it's been pretty cool to see them find their way back into my collections for special events or to fill in gaps in the deck. And I will call it after this game. This has been a longer video, and we're almost done. All the Psychers and shields. He's infantry too, right? Or is he bulky? Ah, he's not. Okay. Somebody checked me. Free attack already for my scary. Look at these guys. They're both more than 40 points. Womp womp. That should actually kill him outright, except he's Acheron. This is a really bad matchup for a Psychic Akaran. Because he's going to get some kills, but I've got so many cards, I'll punch through stuff. I've got a lot of ranged and melee, so I can switch off attack types and still nail him pretty hard. Got a bunch of anti-infantry. I've got Big Game Hunter, which was, in hindsight, an interesting call, but he's just so good. Never sleep on Hicks. He's incredible. Also forgot that this guy does have the secondary trait of Inspiring Presence, so I was wrong when I said I don't have any Inspiring Presence. Ouch. Drop a Medicae in there. See what he does. What you gonna do? You can do Skirmish 7. Skirmish 7 feels like an AI name, but I know you're not an AI. 12, 11. Oh, don't time out. Don't time out. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Close it out. Finish out the game. Ah, thank goodness. Ugh, that was a gnarly drop. Okay. That is a nasty deck. This is a particularly bad matchup. I haven't seen anyone else running Canoness. I don't think anyone is really preparing for it because of all the other stuff out there, but wow. Um, Now, anti-infantry, I should trigger the secondary life on the left and the right. So any kill. Oh, yeah, there we go. So got him. Okay. Now I've got Akaran himself. That may get him killed, but that'll trigger a free attack and get rid of Scary Psyker. Give him some extra damage. Yeah, this is actually gnarly. This is a really hard counter to that deck, being a very, very thick, stout deck with a lot of heavy hitters that gets bonus attacks against a very thin deck with a lot of squishy targets. Squishy is the wrong word. Juicy targets. There are targets that are counterable if someone has the counters, and I brought the counters. Oh man, she's doing so much damage. All right, very impressive. So max level anti-infantry is particularly strong, especially, like I said, against those beefy Necron decks that really give you some trouble. Okay, so there's a very good chance that I'm about to lose her. That will give me a free bonus attack. Do I shoot or melee? We will melee. Free attack. So many attacks. One shield. I got more shields than... Wow, one shield. Dang. And that's the free attacks really help clear the shields on Akaran. I think. We'll see what happens. Gonna do Psychic, probably. It's got a bunch of melee built up, but I don't know if... we'll see. We'll see what it does. Might surrender. I don't know. I don't know. This would be a reasonable time to, I guess, but let's just play it out. So this is a case where my personal approach is if I was in his shoes and felt that I should surrender, I would just do the melee attack and just roll with it. Let the chips fall where they may, which is a hard loss. Shields down. Brutal. Yeah, I've definitely got enough here. It would be the Space Marine way to yell, charge! And charge right into it. Martyrdom for the Emperor. But into Sisters of Battle, I don't know. I love this too. This is a very appropriate couple of units and cards to throw in with a Canoness. It's just very Imperial Guardy. 300. Man, okay. There we go. Okay. So that was it. We'll leave it there. The games have been somewhat slower, but those are the kinds of things that I would do to counter this, or to do well in this particular campaign. Efficiency, free stuff, extra attacks, free removal. So Skull Taker is good, but try Illic. And then also Canoness is extremely good, and don't sleep on anti-infantry. Anti-infantry is real strong in this kind of stuff. So that's it. Good luck. See you out there. That's the wrong button. I hit the wrong button.